Good morning, my delightful things. Welcome back to the cavern. As some of you know, I'm Kasara, the host of this channel. Since I decided to cover satanic cults, why not look into the figure behind it all? Satan. Or Lucifer, depending on who you talk to. Before I get into it, this is purely educational and not an attack on anyone's belief. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to join the fandom. To the new subscribers, thank you so much for your support. You're amazing. In the first several hundred years of Christianity, there wasn't much depictions of the devil in religious art or even in the book. I don't know exactly when the Bible was written, to be honest. However, that doesn't mean that Christians didn't believe there was a devil. They believed that the rival pagan gods, Egyptian Bes, I think that's how you pronounce it, and the Greek god Pan were demons. These demons, according to the Christians, were responsible for war, disease, and other human and natural disasters. Hundreds of years later, when the devil did arrive in Western artwork, the depictions featured these gods' physical attributes. So Bes's facial features and hair, along with Pan's goat legs. By 1260, the Middle Ages had a more recognizable image of the devil. During this time period, there was a lot of hardship, which made worse by the Black Death, which killed millions across Europe. With the church seemingly unable to protect its followers from the disease, more depictions of Satan emerged, focusing on a gruesome horror of hell which reflected the mood of the time, which also reminded believers to abstain from sin. By 1535, there became an increase in devilish propaganda, which associated the devil with the enemies of Christianity. When the church split during the Reformation, Catholics and Protestants accused each other of being influenced by Satan. So propaganda emerged using playful yet grotesque imagery to show corruption at work between the two parties. Between the 1500s and 1600s, people were put on trial for making pacts with the devil and practicing witchcraft, as some of you know. Satan was often depicted as a seducer, and women were considered vulnerable to his villainy. Images depicted women in sexual alliance with the devil, which tapped into the tradition that decried women as the weaker sex and were more likely to sin since they were governed by their carnal desires. I think where this came from is satyrs. Satyrs in Greek mythology were thought to be very sexual creatures. Pan was a depiction of a satyr, so taking the characteristics associated with the creature isn't that hard to believe. The 1600s through the 1800s was the Enlightenment period. Writers and thinkers reinterpreted the devil's story to fit the political preoccupation of the time. John Milton drew a psychological complex portrait of Lucifer in his poem Paradise Lost, which tells the story of Satan's fall from heaven. Milton's Satan was an attractive and sympathetic creature, which embody the rebellious sentiment of the 17th century republicanism. By the 1900s to our current time, the devil changed because science now explains death, disease, and natural disasters, so the devil became used with political and religious enemies. Lucifer in Latin translates to Lightbringer and was originally named for the planet Venus, which was known as the morning star. In the Old Testament, the planet Venus is referred to under this name, but there is a secondary meaning. In the book of Isaiah, the corrupt king of Babylon was given this name. The king was called to be the light bringer, but instead tried to be like God and fell from heaven and was condemned to the pit. Initially, this was primarily connected to the historical king of Babylon, but Jesus makes a comment to his disciples that added another dimension to this name. Jesus said in Luke 10:18, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven." The two passages were later connected by Christians, and slowly Lucifer became associated with the name of Satan. Before he fell from heaven, of course. The Catholic Church has always taught that Satan was at first a good angel made by God, something I actually was taught as well. And other demons were indeed created naturally by God, but they became evil by their own doing. Yeah, even though the name has been generally accepted to be the angelic name of Satan by Christians, it has never been an official part of the faith. Apart from the King James Version of the Bible, no other version of the Bible being used today mentions the word Lucifer at all, which I thought was interesting. In Isaiah 14:12 of the King James Version, it reads, "How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning." How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? With the New International, New Living, New American Standard Bible, along with the Jubilee versions, the phrase, O Lucifer, son of the morning, was worded as morning star, son of the dawn, O shining star, son of the morning, and O star of the morning, son of the dawn. However, even the King James Version has its problem because it wasn't directly translated from the original early Bible Hebrew text, and instead was a retranslation, mostly from an early Bible version in Latin of St. Jeremy, who lived during the 4th century. Instead of Lucifer for a fallen angel, the original Hebrew text of Isaiah 14:12 was actually referring to the Babylonian king, who was responsible for the persecution of ancient Israelites. The reason why the King James Version used the word Lucifer is because of the Latin translation. What do you make of this information? Do you think there's another reason Satan or Lucifer became the most feared entity? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments. I actually found this quite interesting. And I kind of knew some of this. Well, not completely. I knew that a lot of the saints that Christians believe in were actually taken from paganism. The holidays were all taken from paganism. The symbols were taken from paganism. I actually read, and I don't know how much of this is true, so don't quote me on this. I may actually do some research into this to see if it's accurate or not. But I have heard from many people that Jesus's teachings or words were actually the goddess Isis. She said the words, not him. I don't know if that's true. I actually have also heard that Jesus is actually a combination of Osiris and Isis. And that's not really surprising to me either. Just because paganism is a lot older. The traditions are a lot older. They had a lot more deities or deities. And Zeus is a lot like God, if you look at it. Because Zeus was very wrathful. So is the Christian God, from what I've read. I mean, I was a Christian way back in the day. And some of the gods that didn't work with the Christian ideals were turned into demons. So it's not really surprising that Lucifer, Satan, became evil. It's not really surprising. Not to me anyways. But let me know what you think of all of this. Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Later tonight, I'll be reviewing part of season 1 of the Netflix show, You. I've only gotten to 8. I'm actually on 9. I haven't watched 9 yet, but episode 9, I should say. So no spoilers, please. Tuesday, I'll be returning to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands because I want to actually finish a video game, and I found there's only 10 chapters of the game, so it's pretty short. And we've already made it through 1, 2, and 3, so there's only 7 more, minus the DLC, but we're not gonna discuss that. I probably will do the DLC because I do have it, and just see what it adds to the content. Next Friday, I'll be reviewing the Insidious films since another one is coming out, and I'm extremely excited for it. And yes, I will be reviewing that one too, once I see it. I'll also be discussing the strange case of Ricky Casso. If you don't want to miss the upcoming content, click the bell icon to never miss a video. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and take care until next time. Bye, everyone.